And now we move to the other important topic to evaluate investments, and that is internal rate of return, and it's abbreviated as IRR. So now in this method, we actually estimate two discounting rates, a lower discounting rate and a higher discounting rate. And these two rates are used to find out the present values for the investment. How that is done will be explained in the next slide. So let's move on to the next slide. So now the formula to compute IRR is X plus PQ times AC divided by AD. And these are explained here. X is the rate giving positive NPV. PQ is the distance between two rates used for NPV, a lower rate and a higher rate, and the difference between them, that is PQ. AC is the positive NPV, and AD is the positive plus the negative NPV. Now you have to bear in mind that higher the discounting factor or discounting rate, the lower will be the returns on the investment. And you will see this in the next slide. So as I said, the unique feature of IRR is that we use two discounting rates, and they should be sufficiently apart. And in this example, we are going to use two discounting rates, that is 10% and 14%. And we assume that the actual return on the investment falls within these two limits, 10% and 14%. So it is somewhere in between these two discounting rates. So we'll move to the next slide, which is the tabulation, to show you the actual calculations and the results. So here we are. We got a tabulation, and in this tabulation we have used two discounting rates, 10% and 14%. And the result of this tabulation is that we got two net present values, one using 10% discounting rate, and the NPV here is 6,120, and this is a positive NPV. And then we got 14% discounting rate, and the NPV here is a negative figure of 3,904. How we interpret this result, we have to go to the next slide. So now we have to use the formula, and we plot the figures in the formula, which is now shown here. You have to remember this formula because you may be required in the exams to do these type of calculations. And also these two methods are very important for your future career as well. Now, after feeding the figures in this formula, we calculate IRR, that is 12.44%. So what happens that the investment return is 12.44%. And then how we use this figure in the analysis is that we match it with the expected return. And suppose the expected return is less than 12, that is, it could be 10% or 11%, then we know that the project returns more or a higher percentage than what was expected. So the project is likely to be accepted. So now, as you can see that the IRR of 12.44% can be compared with some criteria that is used in the business to evaluate projects, investments, and as it says that if the criteria rate or hurdle rate is 10.5% and the project returns 12.44%, so the return from the project is more than the hurdle rate of 10.5%. So there are better chances for this investment to be accepted. But if the hurdle rate is, say, more than the returns, that is, if the hurdle rate is 15%, then you can see that there are less chances of the investment to be approved. So now you can see that two very important methods of evaluating investment opportunities have been discussed, and these two methods are extremely important not only for your studies purpose, but also after your studies when you enter in the job market, or if you are running a business, again you are likely to be using these methods to evaluate investment opportunities. And then I strongly advise you to understand these two concepts very clearly, because they will be useful to you for the rest of your life. So finally, thank you very much for your time, and you can refer to my other lectures on YouTube. The URL is given down below, and also my LinkedIn address and my email address are provided here. So take your time, go through my lectures, and you will benefit a great deal by visiting my lectures there. So thank you again. Bye for now.